In Jamaica, one opposition senator is proposing that the vote to have the Caribbean Court of Justice CCJ as the country's final appellate court be delayed. Opposition Senator Dr. Christopher Tufton says the vote on the three critical bills should be postponed for at least a year given the imminent general elections. He made those comments in the Senate on Friday. More from Leslie and Sherwood.
He's one of the opposition senators political pundits have predicted to vote in favor of the three critical Caribbean Court of Justice CCJ bills. But opposition Senator Dr. Christopher Tufton did not confirm those persuasions when he rose to make his contribution to the debate in the upper house on Friday. In fact, Dr. Tufton is calling for a delay in the vote of the three bills. He argues that given an impending general election, it would be impossible for senators not to vote along party lines. Instead, Senator Tufton appealed for continuous consultation on the matter.
This debate has become increasingly partisan and politically polarized. And this, to my mind, has fostered a collision course between our individual consciences and our commitment to our respective political parties. In this regard, it has affected the possibility of a bipartisan solution. This, Mr. President, is evident in a fundamental missing principle from these debates. That is, to be clear on the things that we agree and to seek compromise on the things that we don't.
According to Dr. Tufton, both sides have agreed to several issues in the debate. He dismissed arguments that the opposition is intent on stalling a very critical piece of legislation. He says that's far from the truth.
First one is the need to do away with the final vestiges of slavery and colonialism. This argument is perhaps the most politically attractive, Mr. President, appealing directly to the deep sense of injustice and the experiences faced by so many in the past. I hardly doubt that any of us in this House can disagree with that position. However, of course, this line of reasoning leads inevitably to our discussion on republicanism and the removal of the Queen as our head of state. And again, I suspect we could find common ground on that issue.
Another area Dr. Tufton notes that the government and the opposition have in common is access to justice for all and the need to repatriate our judicial sovereignty.
If the means of attaining justice are beyond the reach of the average person, can it be said that justice is available to all? Asking a rhetorical question. It is important, it is valid, and it has been asked many times on that side. And I think it's worthy of a response. And frankly speaking, I believe that none of us, either on that side or on this side, are in any doubt that what we want is justice for one and justice for all. There's no disagreement on that. We're at one. We're in agreement on these issues. And it would be disingenuous for anyone to suggest that they have a greater commitment to those issues than any other group here in this House. Because I believe we're in no difference as it relates to those issues.
On the topic of holding a referendum on the matter, the opposition senator told his colleagues that the initiative does not have to be politically divisive.
I reject the minister's assertion. Does not have to be politically divisive. As he has suggested over and over again, it really is up to the political leaders to determine the mood and the temperature of this type of people consultation.
Jamaican legislators have been debating whether or not to have the Caribbean Court of Justice CCJ replace the UK Privy Council as its final appellate court. 3 bills to the CCJ entrenched in the Constitution have been passed in the lower house, courtesy of the government's 2/3 majority. However, for it to be passed in the upper house, the government needs at least one vote from an opposition senator. The Jamaica Labour Party has been advancing arguments for a referendum and Jamaica's own final court. I'm Leslie Sherwood for CEEN Caribbean News.